He gave up his dignity just to save his mother's life, but he lost her in the end. And then this happened. Watch to the end as we unfold this touching and emotional movie together. Hey guys, welcome to today's amazing movie that will keep you at the edge of your seat. But before we dive in, don't rush. Grab a snack that'll keep you focused, and don't forget to click the subscribe button for more amazing movies from us. This movie begins with a young man named Toby, who greeted his mother fondly, calling her Iya or Lorpa, before serving her breakfast. His father had been dismissed from the police force by his colleague, but that didn't stop Toby from pursuing his dream of becoming a police officer. He had been writing the entrance exams repeatedly without success, yet he refused to give up. His mother always encouraged him. That morning, Toby told his mother about a painting job he was going for and promised to get her medication afterward. As he left, the whole neighborhood greeted him because he was well known. While waiting at the bus stop, Toby caught a young boy trying to steal his wallet. Instead of punishing the boy, he warned him, advised him to do better, gave him some money, and left. Hours later, a woman from the neighborhood came calling for Iya or Lorpa because another woman, Iya Rukayat, was in labor. Iya or Lorpa went quickly and told her what to do. Moments later, Papa Emeka and his wife were discussing how the hospital workers were on strike. They were overjoyed to hear that Iya Rukayat had delivered a healthy baby girl. The whole neighborhood celebrated with excitement and jubilation. Meanwhile, Toby continued painting even after work hours, which impressed his manager. At the pharmacy, Toby was told that the price of his mother's drugs had increased. He pleaded with the pharmacist, but nothing could be done. Not long after, Toby's longtime friend, Ruby, popularly known as Scooby, walked in. She was surprised to see him and, after paying for his drugs, insisted on giving him a ride home. That night, Scooby, who knew Toby very well, tried to convince him to make better money through her connections. But since it wasn't a legal job, Toby refused. She bragged about how wealthy her man was and how she didn't have to work. But Toby wasn't interested, so he left. When he got home, his mother welcomed him warmly and appreciated his effort in buying her medication. She shared with him all that had happened that day as they spent time together. The next day, after finishing his cleaning job, Toby went to the gatekeeper, pleading to check if his name had finally been shortlisted for police enlistment. But it wasn't. His mood changed instantly. When he returned home, his mother welcomed him again. He told her about her medication dosage, which was now complete for the month. He also reassured her that his main priority was to protect and provide for her. Though she began to have doubts, he insisted on wearing the police uniform someday. They shared inspiring conversations as time went by. Weeks later, Papa Emeka and his wife were seen quarreling on the street in front of children. Iya or Lorpa stepped in and gave them some words of wisdom that made them reflect and stop fighting. She later told Toby about what happened, and he was proud of her. He noticed she hadn't eaten, and since he hadn't been paid because he didn't finish work that day, he promised to find a way to take care of her and buy her medication the next day before leaving. Toby then borrowed someone's phone to call his friend Scooby for help. That night at the club, Toby was stopped by security, but Scooby told them to let him in. She introduced him to her man, who told Toby that all he had to do was deliver a package to a location without asking questions, and he'd receive $300,000 in cash. Toby asked what exactly he'd be delivering, but when they refused to tell him, he declined the offer and left. When he got home, he knew it was the right decision, and though things were tough, he was glad he didn't give in. Guys, honestly, hunger and frustration can make a man lose his morals. But let's see what happens next. The next day, Toby worked harder than expected. The manager initially told him he wouldn't get paid for that extra work, but Toby insisted on continuing. When the manager realized that Toby was doing it just to keep his mother alive, he felt pity for him and quietly walked away. That afternoon, Toby's mother saw a woman beating her child unnecessarily. She approached the woman and offered her kind advice. Later that day, Toby went to the pharmacy to buy the remaining medication. The pharmacist complimented him, saying it was admirable how well he cared for his mother. When Toby got home, he greeted his mother in his usual cheerful way and gave her the medication. Days later, Iya or Lorpa began to feel unwell and suddenly fainted. Toby rushed her to the hospital, but they refused to treat her until he deposited the sum of $150,000. He pleaded desperately, but one of the hospital receptionists refused to listen. With no other option, Toby carried his mother to a nearby pharmacy, but there was still no solution. The entire neighborhood followed him, trying to find help and comfort him as he carried his mother in search of treatment. Wow, OLOKPA must have been so valuable to the community for everyone to abandon their work just to care for her. That truly says something about her impact. That night, most of the neighbors contributed money for OLOKPA's treatment and also gathered to pray for her. But when Toby counted all the money, it wasn't even close to the required amount. Toby was desperate. He was willing to do anything to save his mother because he couldn't afford to lose her. That night, he went to the club to accept the delivery job. Once again, he asked what was inside the envelope, but the man who was meant to go with him insisted on going alone. Scooby intervened and told the man to let Toby handle it. Toby made it clear that he was only doing this for his mother's sake. Then he left with the package. Toby returned home late that night, feeling uneasy and guilty, but he eventually fell asleep. Guys, what would you have done if you were in Toby's shoes? Kindly share your thoughts as we continue watching to see what happens next. The next morning, Toby's mother screamed when she found a huge amount of money in his pocket. Toby explained that he had worked for it, though his mother sensed something wasn't right. She advised him wisely, but he insisted that he earned it through hard work. He then helped her get ready to go to the hospital. On their way back home, they were told to return in 5 days for her test results. As they entered the compound, Scooby came to visit, and Toby's mother commented about her outfit. Scooby tried to convince Toby to deliver another package, but he refused, reminding her that he agreed to do it only once. Scooby warned that her man wouldn't be happy about that, but Toby walked away. Scooby later told her man everything that happened. He wasn't willing to let Toby go. He ordered her to ensure that Toby delivered another package that night, or there would be trouble. He warned her that no one gets involved in their business and leaves freely. That night, Scooby quietly placed the package at Toby's doorstep. The next morning, OLOKPA woke up and saw an envelope by the door. She called Toby, who immediately knew where it came from. His mother warned him that what he was running away from was beginning to chase him, and if he gave in once, it would keep coming back. Toby, frustrated and angry, grabbed the package and left. He went straight to the club and confronted the boss, warning him never to send him any package again. He threw the envelope on the floor and walked out. Surprisingly, the boss let him go. Later that night, Scooby pleaded with the boss to spare Toby, but the man refused. He told her that Toby already knew too much. He was too clean, and if anything went wrong, Toby could easily expose them. The boss also reminded her that Toby had witnessed him taking someone's life, which made him a potential threat. For that reason, he said he would never let Toby go free. Days later, Toby went to the hospital to collect his mother's test results. The nurse explained that her condition was very serious and that she needed to be admitted immediately. The cost of treatment, she said, would be between $350,000 and $500,000. Toby was shocked and didn't know where he could get such an amount. As he stepped outside, one of the nurses, named Grace, offered to help by treating his mother from home until he could raise the money for her hospital admission. Toby was so grateful and thanked her sincerely. When he got home, he found his belongings scattered outside. His mother came out and saw a note on the wall, asking if they were safe. That night, OLOKPA asked about her test results since it had been more than 5 days. Toby hesitated, then told her that the infection in her body was spreading, but Nurse Grace would be treating her from home. Hearing this, she lost her appetite and became quiet. One night, Scooby told her man that Toby had said he wasn't interested in their deals anymore. The boss felt insulted and threatened. He vowed to deal with Toby, saying that if he let him go, others might start doing the same thing. Guys, at this point, what advice would you give Toby, for his mother's sake? The next day, Nurse Grace came to treat OLOKPA. The woman was so happy and thankful for her kindness. Grace later left, and OLOKPA escorted her a short distance. But on their way, 2 men attacked OLOKPA because of Toby. Grace screamed for help, and the neighbors rushed out to rescue her. When Toby returned from work and heard what had happened, he ran home in panic, only to find his mother bruised and in pain. Grace narrated the whole incident to him, and Toby was filled with rage. Grace tried to calm him down, but his anger only grew deeper. 3 days later, while Grace was treating Aya Orlorpa, the pastor from church came to visit. She told him about the battles she was facing and her fear of losing her son because things were getting out of hand. The pastor encouraged her and insisted on calling the prayer warriors to intercede on her behalf. That night, while the prayers were going on, Toby came home. His mother explained everything to him, that the prayers were being held for his sake. Meanwhile, Toby went to see the pastor privately. He told him how much his mother had sacrificed for him and how hard he was trying to give her the good life she deserved. Toby opened up about the group that had tried to recruit him, admitting that he had participated once and was now afraid because they were after him and his family. The pastor counseled him, prayed for him, and gave him wise advice. Afterwards, Toby also prayed sincerely to God, asking for mercy, direction, protection, and wisdom. He went home and spent some quiet, heartfelt moments with his mother as time went by. One day, Toby had a long conversation with Papa Emeka. That same night, he decided to go to the club to confront the chief directly. He boldly asked the man about his real business, if it was drug trafficking, and why he was recruiting young people into it. He also questioned him about how he silenced and trapped innocent youths. The chief indirectly admitted to everything and even threatened to harm Toby's mother if he ever refused him again. Days later, while Grace was treating Aya Orlorpa, Toby asked to use her phone to send an email. Using the phone, he sent detailed information and evidence about the chief, explaining how he recruited young people into drug trafficking and attaching all the proof he had. Later, Nurse Grace had a serious talk with Toby. She told him to act fast because, although his mother was responding to treatment, other parts of her body still needed urgent medical attention. Toby didn't lose hope. He remained confident that his mother would live. On another day, the pastor met with Toby again. During their conversation, Toby revealed that he still had a strong interest in becoming a police officer. The pastor smiled and told him about his old friend, a retired police officer, who had agreed to guide and mentor Toby through the process. Toby was overwhelmed with gratitude, feeling like God had finally answered his prayers. One night, the chief and his gang were raided by the police. With all the evidence that Toby had sent, they were arrested and taken into custody. Weeks later, Toby came home jubilating because he had been officially accepted to begin training at the police academy. The pastor and Grace were full of joy and thanked God for the miracle. However, Grace was worried. She mentioned that the 6 months of training would be tough because Iya Orlorpa's infection was spreading rapidly. Still, she promised to take care of her and assured Toby that she and the pastor would handle everything, even though the medications were expensive. While at the police academy, Toby made a video call to his mother and Grace. The call was full of joy and laughter. Iya Orlorpa was so proud of her son. Another day, while Grace was feeding Iya Orlorpa, who had grown very weak, the elderly woman asked if Grace was married. Grace smiled softly and said she had a fiancé who was currently in Dubai. Just then, Toby called to check on his mother. She burst into tears, moved by the fact that her son was almost done with his training. One night, Aya Orlorpa was shaking and burning with fever so much that Grace didn't know what to do anymore. The neighbors gathered around in panic while she tried calling Toby, but his number wasn't going through. In tears, she ran to the pastor for help. But when the pastor arrived to see her, Aya Orlorpa had already given up the ghost. The entire neighborhood wept bitterly. The next day at the hospital, Grace was inconsolable. She broke the sad news of Iya Orlorpa's death to her colleagues and spoke about how special she was. They all mourned her deeply as the moments passed. Months later, Toby, now a graduate of the police academy, returned home. The whole neighborhood hailed him for what he had become, but to his surprise, the gate was locked and everywhere was quiet. He went to greet the pastor first and asked why his mother and Grace missed his parade. The pastor was silent. When Toby finally learned that his mother was gone, he screamed in pain, devastated that she wasn't alive to witness his success. Days later, Toby became a shadow of himself, drowning in sorrow because his mother was no more. Grace came to visit him before traveling to Dubai to meet her fiancé. She apologized to him and reminded him of all the things his mother had always taught them. She encouraged him to stay strong and left. At the final burial of Iya or OLOKPA, the entire neighborhood was present. Each person spoke beautiful words about her impact and the good things they had received from her. It was a touching moment for everyone. That night, Toby found a letter written by his mother, words filled with love, hope, and the story of her sacrifices for him. The letter also encouraged him to keep pushing forward in life. The message broke Toby's heart, and he cried uncontrollably. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. The next morning, Toby locked his gate, stood at attention, and gave one final salute to honor his mother, just as he always did. Then he turned and walked away. This story reminds us that a mother's love is priceless and irreplaceable. No sacrifice for family ever goes unnoticed, even when life doesn't give us a chance to say thank you. Cherish your loved ones while they are still here, for time waits for no one. Love, appreciate, and honor them today, before it becomes just a memory. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts in the comment section. Also, subscribe for more touching and inspiring movies from us. Till we meet again,